Alright guys, welcome to Hansen's Speed Shop. If you have not watched the channel update video I put out, go back and watch that one. It'll kind of bring you up to speed on like what's been going on with the channel, why there hasn't been a lot of updates on projects that I started here on the channel, like the Model A Hot Rod, and just what's been going on. So we're going to go watch that video and then come back to this one. It'll kind of bring you up to speed a little bit on what's been going on in my life. So I also started, I think it might have been like the end of last year, beginning of this year, I started an Instagram page, which I also have not been good about like doing any kind of major updates on that. Like I have not been doing YouTube as much this year either. But if you want to go follow Hansen Speed Shop on Instagram, there is a page, and I'll be doing more updates, little pictures and stuff of different projects on there before I do like full-length videos here on YouTube. So if you want to go follow Hansen Speed Shop on Instagram, as of right now I'm not putting a ton on there, but I plan to. So if you want to go check that out, do it. But getting back to the hot rod project. So last year, 2022, bought the car in March, and then basically got the car home like end of March, right beginning of April. It was still winter, and then basically immediately started working on the car pretty much almost every day, every weekend for sure, till about like early October. So like at the end of summer I got the car running, then like late summer, early fall got the car driving, was in the process of working a lot of bugs out on the car, and the car still had a ton of bugs to work out, but I took the car over to my friend's shop. The car has been there since like last October. His shop's called Hungry Hollow Customs, and basically we originally took the car there to get the car had no grill shell on it, if you remember, and then I had an original 32 Ford grill shell that we were going to section down to match the car because it's channeled so heavy. So he was going to do that, and then we were going to fix some of the issues around the car with the paint. So that was the original plan, and then the original plan was then to get the car back earlier this spring, and then I was going to kind of refresh the engine a little and then have the car ready for this summer. Well, as you know, that obviously did not happen because when we brought the car there, the car still was not sitting right. So he basically wanted to dig into that first, get the car sitting right, and then start doing all the other stuff. And then we determined that the front of the frame was bent on the driver's side for like an inch or two. It was bent up. And then we made the decision that since the frame had been hacked on and modified so much since the car was first built in the, as a hot rod in the early 60s, and then the car would have to get tore apart anyway to try to fix that frame. And then once we got to that point, it's like who knows how good the frame was going to be. So we just made the decision to go with a new frame, which I'm kind of happy that we did. So then the next plan was that I was going to start tearing the car apart over the winter, getting it ready to swap over onto the new frame, and then he was going to get everything mocked up on the new chassis. And then once we got to that stage, we get back to my original plan of just doing what I originally wanted to do. Well, then we got into my whole personal thing of having to move, and my financial situation got basically really screwed up, and I was so busy with moving. I tried to like maybe once a month go in and work on the car a little bit. He did the grill shell in the meantime, but basically we didn't get to do do it the way I wanted to do it. So that kind of brings us up to where we are right now. So the last time that I did an update video on the car, I was starting basically to tear the interior out, I think, getting it ready to get the body swapped over and everything. So since then, especially recently, I've really like hardcore been working on the car, and we basically almost are to the point. I've got like a small handful of things to do yet, and then we're gonna basically go all in on getting it swapped over. So the whole interior's out of the car, the steering column's out of the car, the body's unbolted, the engine and transmission's unbolted, basically ready to be pulled. The grill's off, the radiator's out, headlights are off, the shocks are off, the drive shaft's out, the whole exhaust is off. Basically as much as I could get off the car to make it the simplest to get, where we can start swapping it. I still had to keep the car where we can roll it and move it if we need to, because we're limited on space. And then also with my financial situation right now, we're not going to be able to finish the whole car in one shot just because I don't have the money to do that right now. So the new plan is by the end of the summer we'll have the whole car set up on the new chassis, basically in mock-up form. I'm going to take the car back to my garage, and then basically over this coming winter start collecting anything that I'm going to need, because I've found and he's found so much stuff on the car that was just done poorly or was unsafe or just totally sketchy or just could be done so much better, which you typically find with a car that was built 60 plus years ago and then worked on by half a dozen people since then. But I want to keep the car true to what it is, like I have since the start, and cosmetically want to keep the car basically looking like how it does, as close to how, I don't want to change we're not changing the color of the car or the overall appearance of the car, just kind of adding to what it is and what it was, and just making it drive better, making it safer, making it more reliable, and then adding to it as far as the little stuff that I wanted to do just to make it a even cooler, nicer hot rod. And then also I still have plans. Obviously we're going to refresh the engine a little bit because it needs that. And then like you've seen in one of my last update videos on the car, I had that cool wine 4.2 intake that's going to be going on. The heads that I started doing last year, those will be going on the car, and some other cool old speed equipment and stuff. Still not sure what I want to do with the exhaust on the car. If I'm just going to keep the manifolds that are on the car and then do a different style exhaust, because I hated the exhaust that was on the car for multiple reasons. Number one, it just in so many different locations was just horrible for working on the car, because like to change the oil filter you had to drop the exhaust to get the oil filter off. It's just stupid stuff like that. Or the one muffler was like pointed right at the battery, just dumb stuff like that. Number two, it didn't look, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't nothing to write home about. And the car sounded okay, but it wasn't like, didn't have the sound that I'm looking for. So still not sure what I want to do with the exhaust, if I wanted to go with headers like I originally did or just stick with the manifolds. It's gonna just come down to money, and it's mainly coming down to money. You can always just run the manifolds in some type of simple exhaust, and then maybe do something more radical in the future, but that's all down the road. But basically then the plan is next spring, if I get the money saved up to do the paint on the car will go back to his shop, it tore back down, which won't be as extreme of a tear down because everything's just going to be kind of mocked up. And then everything will get painted, come back to me, and then we can kind of finish the car up. And hopefully in the next year and a half, the car should be done, which is a lot longer than what I was hoping for, because basically did not plan on doing a full build, which is what it's turning into, but it is what it is. I don't want to sell the car. I've had people offered that want to buy the car, or like kind of trying to talk me into selling it. I don't want to sell the car. I mean, it's like basically sticking with it, you know, until seeing it through. And I don't have any plans of selling the car, so the car is going to stay with me, and it's going to get done. It's just going to take a lot longer and a lot more money than I wanted to, that I originally had planned, because the plan was like by now the car was supposed to be done driving and enjoying it, and kind of moving on to another project, but we're just gonna keep chugging along on this one. I got a couple pictures hopefully that I'll throw in here in the video, kind of showing you guys, like when I go to his shop and work on the car, or go there to check out progress on things. I don't like to disturb his business with my filming, and just kind of usually super noisy there and stuff, so it's just kind of hard to do anything there other than a couple pictures. So that's why the update videos have been kind of like this. Also, like basically we kind of discussed that I don't want to hold up his, you know, he's trying to run a business and make money, and I basically just, you know, my hobby, so I don't want to tie up his business with my project that's not going at the speed that, you know, it's not going as fast as I wanted it to, or that he wanted it to, but it's kind of on me that I don't have the resources to make that happen. You know, like I told him, if I had a big bag of money to throw at it, get it done in a month, I would have, but that's not the situation. But it is going to be getting moved along. Like a lot has gotten done, just in getting it ready to get it to the next step, and then hopefully in the next month or two, a lot's going to get done, and bring you guys up to speed on that when that happens. So I'll do another update video. Basically, maybe once we get to the getting it swapped over, because that's going to be coming up here really soon, and then obviously once we get it set up on the new chassis, I'm sure we're going to run into a lot of problems, like unforeseen stuff. A lot of it should be pretty straightforward, but we're going with a different style rear suspension that's on the car currently. The car currently has coilovers in the back. We're going back to the leaf spring setup, more traditional, and just I feel like it's going to be less problematic than the setup that's on there right now. And just I like that more old school look, because you know, it's just more true to what the car is. Trying to keep everything as period on the car as possible, and not have too much modern stuff on the car. I mean, there's still going to be a few things on the car here and there, but 95% of the car I want to keep as true to what it is as possible. So that's the only thing that I'm kind of worried about, because where the rear end setup now is set up for that suspension, so we might, I don't want to I don't want to alter the wheelbase or the stance of the car away from what it currently is, so that's something that we're going to have to play with. But everything else should basically be going on the new chassis in the same spot that it is on this setup. That's my hope anyway. So otherwise, guys, get out, work on your own projects, get those hands dirty and greasy, stay cool. We'll catch you cats on the next one. Hopefully that won't be too long. But go check out the channel, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, we're doing the Instagram thing now also, so go check that out. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.